Hi, and welcome to the Azure News Recap for December 2023. We'll jump right in. Again, we'll do some retiring features. We'll have some general availability ones, and then the preview features that have been released in the month of December. So first up, retiring features. Most important one of the month, Azure Spatial Services are getting retired, which means that Azure Spatial Anchors will be retired November 20th, 2024, and Azure Object Anchors will be retired May 20th, 2024. Now, for Azure Object Anchors, it is generally available in Dynamics 365 guides, and this is actually using the same technology under the hood. So that will be a possible solution. And please take into account that Microsoft continues to invest in developing robust spatial computing technologies and platforms. So we are actively working on expanding spatial computing capabilities to meet industry's scale and performance. Jumping right into the new general availability features from Azure, we'll start with Azure Health Data Services that now allows you to do encryption based off of customer managed keys. So this means that you can be extra safe in storing that data in Azure Health Data Services. Next up is a big one. PostgreSQL 16 is now supported on Azure Database for PostgreSQL Flexible Server, which means that you'll get enhanced logical replication, that you'll get query execution optimization, for instance, by doing full and right join optimizations, but also refined plans for complex queries. We have up to a 300% increase in bulk data loading with PostgreSQL 16, and also there have been some vacuum strategy enhancements, which means that now there's less need for full table vacuums some of the time. Then jumping into Azure Functions, since we now have local development on Apple Silicon Macs in general availability, which means that it's now GA for running, for instance, Node.js or .NET or Java applications, Azure Functions, on your Apple Silicon Mac. Azure App Configuration now has snapshots generally available, which means that you can have production stability assurance with last known good configuration, quickly accessible, and you can have a comprehensive audit trail where you can see an in-depth history of changes of values in app configuration. And next up, virtual machines, where we have multi-disk crash consistency now available for VM restore points, which is an agentless solution that stores the VM configuration and point-in-time write order consistent snapshots for all managed disks attached to a VM. Long story short, disaster recovery became a bit easier with Azure VMs using crash consistency. Then jumping right into the preview features that we have for the month of December, Azure Event Grid has added two new topics. One of them is the new system topic for Azure Health Resources and Resource Management events, which means that you can now use Azure Resource Notifications for real-time alerts regarding disruptions, for instance, in your Azure environment. So you can now immediately begin mitigating any and all issues that might arise. And next to that, there's now support for events from services like Entra and Outlook and Teams, since we have an integration of Microsoft Graph API, which means that we can now have even more types of events triggering processes. We already talked about Azure Database for PostgreSQL Flexible Server. We also added some enhanced disaster recovery features. One of them is virtual endpoints, which means your database connection will stay stable. So even if you have to promote your read replica to the primary, your application will continue to work without any changes. And last but not least, we now have the promote to primary server option that lets you switch roles between your primary database and its replica very quickly. And this is crucial for disaster recovery and recovery drills, of course. As always, we have a QR code that actually points you towards all of the updates that we used for this recap. If there's something missing or if you want to see something more, go to azure.com/updates and see a full list of all of the updates on Azure for the past month. For now, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.